All right, number one, we're asked to simplify this expression, cosecant x times secant x minus tangent of x. So with this one, first of all, there's not the same trig function showing up in both terms. That's one of the first things we want to look at. If we've got something like this and there's the same trig function in both terms, we can factor that out. There's also not something that jumps out at us right away as being one of our identities that we can substitute in there. So without those things that are just going to jump out at us right away, let's go to one of our strategies, which was to turn everything into sine and cosine. So cosecant is 1 over sine, and secant is 1 over cosine, and tangent is sine over cosine. So let's finish up this multiplication here. That's 1 over sine x cosine x, and then minus sine x over cosine x. So there's not something that will immediately cancel out, or again, nothing that really jumps out at us as being one of our identities. So let's go to another strategy that we talked about, and that is when we have some fractions here, or one fraction and another term, we can combine those fractions. So in order to combine these, in order to subtract this fraction minus this fraction, we're going to need a common denominator. So our common denominator is going to be sine x cosine x, and to get that over here, we're going to need to multiply by sine x. That would give us sine x times cosine x in this fraction. But we can't just multiply by sine x in the denominator. But we can multiply by sine x over sine x, because that's just multiplying by 1. All right, so this becomes 1 over sine x cosine x. And then sine x times sine x is sine squared over sine x cosine x in the denominator. Now we've got a common denominator, we can combine these. So we get 1 minus sine, let me move this over here, 1 minus sine squared x over sine x cosine x. Now we have something that should jump out at us as being one of our identities. 1 minus sine squared x. That's going to be equal to cosine squared x. So we've got cosine squared x over sine x cosine x. And now remember that cosine squared is just cosine times cosine. So this cosine and one of our cosines in that cosine squared are going to divide to 1. So we can cancel those. And we're left with just cosine over sine, which is equal to tangent. No, sorry, not tangent, cotangent of x. And that's going to be our final answer.